Hello children. Today we are going to learn a very interesting chapter, motion in one dimension. You know the meaning of motion and rest you have learnt in your lower classes. So let us deal with that motion in one dimension today. Before that we will see, so the A part is terms related to motion. The heading of the first part will be some terms related to motion. Now, let us understand the very meaning of scalar and vector quantities. Scalar and vector quantities. So what I am going to do is, I am going to display some physical quantities in front of you. I have circled some quantities. I have put a tick mark for certain quantities. I have given a mixture of, I have just displayed in a very random manner a lot of physical quantities. See, certain physical quantities I have circled. So let us consider all the circled ones first. Okay. So first one is mass, and it is measured, the SI unit of mass is kg. It is measured by kg. The next one is speed. You are aware, meter per second. Pressure, just now you finished that chapter. Pascal, pressure is measured by Pascal. Distance, meter. Time, second. Work, you have already learned, joule. Velocity you have not learned, we will have a discussion later. Velocity also, it is measured by meter per second. Then volume, meter cube, you learnt in your lower classes. Density, kilogram per meter cube. Temperature, and then energy. So I have certain quantities which are circled down. You are seeing the difference. Mass, speed, time, distance, pressure, temperature, density, energy, volume, velocity, and work. Now, what is the concept? What you are seeing a similarity in all these quantities. So if you can observe, these physical quantities will have only magnitude. That means it can be measured just by a value. Suppose you consider mass, you consider speed, you consider time. You will not bother about the direction. You will only consider about the value or the magnitude. Suppose you talk about time, you can measure, just somebody is asking you time, you will just tell in minutes, hours, or seconds. Energy, directly, there is no direction needed for measuring energy. You can measure energy through joule, or work also can be measured through joule, or volume or temperature also can be measured by Kelvin. So these quantities which I have circled has only magnitude, but direction is not considered. So these quantities which I have circled are called as physical quantities, which have only magnitude are called scalar quantities. So that is the meaning of scalar quantities. Don't get confused. Okay. Now let us see other quantities which I have put a tick mark. See, force, thrust, displacement, acceleration, which you have not learned, we will learn, don't worry. And then weight, very few have taken for the other quantity. Force, thrust, displacement, acceleration, weight. Now let us consider force. Suppose a pen is lying on the table. You want to you want to displace the pen, or you want to make the pen to be displaced from one point to another point. So what will you do? You will give a force on the pen in such a way that the pen is moving from one point to another point. So absolutely what is important here, you are giving a force of maybe some 1 Newton. So it is having a value also. At the same time, it is moving along the direction of force. That means direction is considered. So these quantities which will have both magnitude and direction are called as vector quantities. One more example is displacement. We are going to learn in detail. Again, let us come to weight and thrust. You know very clearly from the previous chapter you have learned the thrust exerted by the body is equal to the weight, or weight of the body is equal to the thrust exerted. Okay. So when you come to the point weight, suppose you are standing on the floor. What you are doing, you are absolutely putting your weight on the weight of the body on the floor. So it will have a, what is it? Absolutely, it acts vertically downwards. The gravitational force will act vertically downwards, and that gravitational force is nothing but weight. Okay. So weight is absolutely a vector quantity. Okay, so then we are having displacement, as I told you, we will learn later, and acceleration, absolutely it is a what is that, vector quantity also. Okay, now I'm sorry, here even velocity is a vector quantity. Okay, I'm sorry, velocity is also vector quantity, acceleration is also vector quantity. By mistake I've circled, please excuse me children. So only speed is a scalar quantity, but velocity and acceleration are vector quantity. I hope you have understood now. Let us recollect once again. So what are scalar quantities? Quantities which have only magnitude are called scalar quantities, whereas the quantities which will have both magnitude and direction are called vector quantities. Okay, now I am going to give a very interesting, I have, you can see here, see children, what I have done here. For pressure I have circled. You may have a doubt, certainly will have a doubt. Ma'am, when you say that thrust is, what is that, vector quantity, how come pressure is a scalar quantity? Pressure and thrust are related, is it not? The thrust acting on unit area is called as what, pressure. But how do you put this pressure under scalar quantity? So we are going to have a interesting explanation. Okay, now I just want to, I've drawn a diagram here with a cylindrical vessel filled with water. So the pressure on the surface, at the surface, it acts perpendicular. You know very clearly, the atmospheric pressure will act perpendicular on the surface. It will be in a normal direction or perpendicular direction. But what about each point inside the liquid? The pressure acts on all directions, or direction is not involved, or it is equal and undiminished. Again, you have learnt in Pascal's law. Okay, so there is a difference. Only on the surface it acts perpendicular, but inside the liquid it does not bother about any direction. It is absolutely exerting, the pressure is exerted in all directions, and absolutely it is equal. Therefore pressure is considered to be a scalar quantity. This is not given in your textbook, but just a point of interest. I just want to have a discussion. Some students certainly will have it in their mind, why pressure is not a scalar quantity. So this is the reason, because only on the surface it is acting normally or perpendicular direction. It is having a direction, but inside the liquid it's not having a direction. The same is applicable for gas also. Therefore, since it has to satisfy all the conditions, then only you can consider it as a vector quantity. Here it is not satisfying the liquids which is inside, liquid molecules which is inside the vessel. Therefore pressure is considered as a scalar quantity. I can give you better higher level mathematical explanation also, but that is not needed. You have not learnt any derivation and all. So this much if you learn theoretically, that is only for understanding. No need to learn, just only to understand. Okay, now we will go to the next interesting concept. We are going to learn about, in detail, about distance displacement. See children, it's going to be very interesting. So distance is a scalar quantity, as I circled, and I told displacement is a vector quantity. How is it? Why distance and displacement are different? Distance means what? Displacement means what? Okay, I am going to give sufficient number of examples for you to understand about, for you to make you understand about distance and displacement. Okay, let's come back. Now you see this diagram. Imagine a person or an object is moving from A to B. So if it has to move from A to B, it can go in any ways. From this side, see there are two paths I have drawn here. One is a straight path A to B. Another one more path is here. The other path is here. So what does it mean here? What does it mean? What do you mean by the distance? Distance is nothing but the length of the path covered by the object. That's all. It only says about the length of the path. It does not bother about the direction. See, it can go by this way also. It can go by this way also. See, I have modified the diagram. See, it can have a curve also. It goes, comes down, go to this position. Okay. So, therefore, this will be a scale. Since you understood distance is a scalar quantity, how it is also I have explained. We are going to see some more examples also. Now, let us come to displacement. Now, see here children. A man is moving at a particular direction, exactly from A to B. See, look at the arrow mark. And I have given east, towards east direction. So he is moving at a particular direction. He starts from A and ends with B. Therefore he is having a particular direction. At the same time he is having a magnitude. What do you mean by magnitude here? The distance which he is covering, is it not? The starting point is A, ending point is B. Suppose the distance or the distance covered by him will be 2 kilometer. So how will you say the man covers 2 kilometer from A to B in the east direction? Therefore, what is it called? It is called as displacement. When there is a particular direction, you call it as displacement. That's all. That is a slight difference. The quantity is having a slight difference. That's it. It will have a particular direction. It will have both magnitude and direction. Okay. So that is one more example. Here again I have drawn one more example. The same thing I have modified. A to B exactly. It will have a starting point and ending point. So in short, you can say displacement is the shortest distance. Maybe you would have learnt in 7th standard. It is the shortest distance between the starting point and the ending point. Like that also you can define. But when you have to define distance, you will tell the length of the path covered by the body. Only it bothers about the length. It is not bother about the direction. But in displacement, both are there. The length of the path is also there and the direction is also there. Now let us come to some mathematical example. So this is immediately we'll say, ma'am, this is a right angle triangle. Yes, of course, it's a right angle triangle only. But we are taking that for a physics case. Okay. Imagine again, a body is moving from, what is it? It is a starting point. A is the starting point and B is the ending point. So you can understand that it goes, the displacement will be the shortest distance between the starting point and the ending point. Okay. So, or the final point. So here you can say AB is the displacement. See there. And what is the distance covered? AC plus BC. That will be distance. So what will be the value? Distance will be 3 plus 4, 7 kilometer. Displacement will be 5 kilometer. Like this kind of questions will be given in the question paper and we will be in a position to do it. Okay. Now let us come to the circle. Interesting. One more example I am going to give. Imagine a small insect which is moving in a circle. It is keeping on moving in a circle. Let us consider the circle means, of course, it has a diameter and radius. Let us consider the radius alone 7 centimeter. Now, I am asking you a question. What will be the distance covered by the insect? What is the displacement of the insect? So, what it is doing, it is starting from A, slowly it is moving and then it is coming back to A. So, that means what? It is displacing. It is starting point and the ending point are same. Therefore, the displacement will be 0. Okay, so what did you understand then? When a body is moving in a circular path, the displacement will be 0. What about the distance? Distance can never be 0. Okay, so understand that we are going to see that also. So what will be the distance? Now consider where the insect is moving. It is moving on the circumference. Absolutely, it is moving on the circumference of the circle, which is given by the formula 2 pi r. Okay, which is given by the formula 2 pi r, which is 2 into 22 by 7 into 7. So 7 gets cancelled. You get 44 meter. So whenever they give a problem like this, they will give a diagram and ask you what is the body is moving in a circular path in a circle, or insect is moving in a circle with a radius such and such. What is the displacement of the insect and what is the distance covered by the insect? So immediately this should click in your mind. The distance covered can never be 0. It will be circumference of the circle. But the displacement will be 0 because it is starting in one point and ending at the same point. Okay. Now, let us come to one more example. I want to give one more example. Imagine with the same thing, the insect is only moving from A to B. That means it is only going for a semicircle. So, it's not a full circle. Already you know the diameter is 14 meter. It is only a semicircle. So what will be the case here? What is the displacement? Is it 0? It can never be 0 because it is starting from A and ending at B. In that case, it started from A. The previous case, it started from A and ended at A. But here, it starts at A and ends at B. So what is the distance here? It will be half of that, is it not? So 2 pi r divided by 2. So 2 gets cancelled. You will have pi r. 22 by 7. 7 will get cancelled. You will get the answer as 22 meter. What will be the displacement? A to B. That means nothing but the diameter. Suppose you have forgotten to write 14 meter. You got the idea, the diameter. Then even then we will give marks for you. Okay. So in this case, in a semicircle, the displacement will be, what is that? Equal to the diameter. Distance will be half of the circumference. Okay. Now one more example. See, one more example I am giving. A stone is dropped from a height. Children, see here. A stone is dropped from a height at a distance of 2 meter. I am asking you now, okay, tell me, what is the distance covered and what is the displacement? So, which is for displacement, how will you calculate? Starting point, ending point, same. Distance also same. So in this case, you can say that distance is equal to displacement. Yeah, this also can occur. Distance is equal to displacement. Now one more. Next, a ball is thrown at a height. Okay, here I have drawn the diagram. A ball is thrown at a height. I have not given a value here. So thrown at a height. So whenever you throw an object, automatically it comes down, is it not? So let us consider the height h, while coming down it is h also. So what is the distance traveled here? What will you do? You have to add the distance, correct? No, from while it is thrown up, the distance is h. While it is coming down, again the distance is h. So what is the answer? H plus h is equal to 2h meter. Or suppose I give a value 10 meter. Okay, so 10 plus 10, 20 meter. I didn't give here, but you can consider. Again here in this case, what is that? See children, it's very interesting. Displacement of the body will be 0. Why? Because when you throw the ball up, it comes back to the same position. Therefore, displacement is equal to 0. Okay. Now, one more interesting example I want to give. Okay. See, I have drawn a funny figure. Not very good drawing. See here children. A man is his activity. This is shown. This diagram shows the activity of a wave surfer. You would have seen a wave surfer. Wave surfer. S-U-R-F-E-R. In any beach activities, if you go to a beach or somewhere, or at least in the movies or some documentaries you would have seen. A man who is surfing. So what he will do? He will be moving along the direction of the wind, is it not? So I have drawn the he is moving here, but I have changed in the physics terms, or I have drawn with the direction. Okay, so AB, first he goes to AB, then to BC, then to CD, DE, EF, FG. So he is starting at A and ending at G. So what is the displacement? Quickly you can say, what will be the displacement from A to G? See here I have written. The displacement will be only AG, or that distance if you draw with the pencil. Okay, what will be the distance? It will be more. It is the length of the path, no? So AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FG. So that is one more example which I gave you. Yes. Now see children, again the finally before we conclude this, we are seeing one more example. Is it not interesting? See here children, starting point and the ending point. Here from starting point to ending point, a man is just walking. He is just walking from the starting point to the end point. So he is displacing himself. So the distance from the starting point to the ending point is called as displacement, which is the shortest distance. But let us consider a car which is moving. Yeah, always you should understand. See, sometimes what happens, you can walk, you can reach a place faster than a car. The car has to move, wait for the signal, wait for the people to move on the road. But walking can be faster sometimes. You can take all shortcuts. One shortcut you take and finish off. But look at the car, it is taking a long path to go from one point to from the starting point to the ending point. Okay. So with all these explanation, we will understand that we will have a comparison between distance and displacement. So what is the first thing? Distance is nothing but the length of the path or the total path covered. Okay. But displacement will be the distance traveled by a body, by an object in a specific direction, or the shortest distance between the starting point and the final point. That is a point. Okay. Now let us have some more 2-3 points here. So distance, see, displacement can be 0. Look at this interesting point. Displacement can be 0, but distance cannot be 0. Just now we saw. See, displacement can be 0. Where 2 cases we saw. When the body is moving in a circular path and it completes one full circle, its displacement will be 0. Then when a body is thrown vertically upwards, it comes back to the normal position again, or it comes back to the same position. Therefore, in that case also displacement is 0. But distance can never be 0. In case of a circular path, you consider it as a circumference. And when a body is thrown up and when it is coming down, you added both the distance, h plus h, 10 plus 10. You added like that. Okay. Now, this is very interesting again. Distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. By now, you would have understood why distance is scalar quantity, why displacement is a vector quantity. Now, again, one more interesting point. The last point to be discussed today. Okay. Distance is always positive. Always distance covered will be positive value only. But displacement can be positive, negative or 0. How is it? Positive will understand. See, one case we saw. Just I am dropping a ball from first floor to the ground floor. then in that case you will say distance and displacement are equal. Okay, so it can be positive. But negative, what do you mean by negative? When you make the body move in the opposite direction, see, suppose a man is moving from exactly from point A to B, you take it as positive, and again he is returning back from B to A, or you consider only B to A, then it can be negative also, or it can be 0 also. So the displacement can be positive, negative, or 0. But if you say that the man is going from A to B and then he comes back from B to A, in that case I won't say it is negative, it is 0 only. Please don't mistake. But if you consider in the opposite direction, then it is considered to be 0. That's it. How you consider is important in case of displacement. Please don't have a confusion. Okay. So with this, I thought of taking, rest and motion also, but no time. It's okay, children. So what I will do is, I will conclude this topic today. So next class, next video, we are going to see about rest and motion with more interesting examples and challenging concepts. Okay. So be ready. Next video will be there. I request all the students, once again I am requesting all the students to watch the videos. Then only you will get a good idea, so that you can be ready for the class. When the teacher is clearing the doubts, you are making it easy both for the teacher and for yourself. Okay. Thank you so much, children. Have a nice day.